Come with us. We'll whisk you away on an unforgettable journey through the heart of America's hidden gem, South Dakota. Know mostly for Mount Rushmore, but you'll really be surprised. It's so much more. Buckle up as we explore sunflowers, soar above rugged landscapes and helicopters, to iconic landmarks like Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse. But that's not all. From mysterious mountains and caves in the Black Hills to authentic 1880s towns, steam trains, wildlife, and bears, South Dakota has surprises around every corner. Ready to escape the ordinary? Hit play now and join us on this wild ride through South Dakota's untamed beauty.
When we reached the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, we knew we were in the beginning of the West. We're headed towards South Dakota for our first start of our journey. We will eventually go all the way into Yellowstone, stopping at the Badlands, Mount Rushmore, and the Grand Tetons, just to name a few. Be sure to subscribe. You'll want to see all the videos on our trip. We arrive at the South Dakota Welcome Center. This is the very first time we've been to the state. We purposely took this route so we could see Mount Rushmore. We were simply amazed by the beauty of South Dakota. We just can't wait to show you. South Dakota consistently ranks as one of the world's top sunflower producers. This makes summer beautiful for the flowers, from July to early August. They stay brilliant for approximately 30 days. This is our first special Old West town that we saw on our way. This is Elk Point, South Dakota. A town since 1859, and you have to wonder, how many of these buildings here are from that time?
Today we're at the Badlands in South Dakota. We are on an amazing helicopter tour so you can see this national park as the eagles fly. The national park system has now made it illegal for you to film at the park to post on YouTube or TikTok. So we're putting our boots in the air. So come along, you hear?
I'm ready! What are you waiting for?
Towering rock formations and rugged canyons tell a tale that stretches back millions of years. Witness the dramatic colors of sunrise and sunset that paint the park's iconic scenery. Well, we have so much more excitement on this helicopter ride, but we wanted to show you the town of Wall, which is at the end of the scenic loop. We stayed the night at the Sleepy Hollow RV Park, which is right next to the town of Wall. And one of the big attractions in Wall is Wall Drugstore. The town of Wall was named for the natural wall in the rock formation of the Badlands National Park. The town is most famous for the Wall Drugstore, which opened as a small pharmacy in 1931 during the Great Depression, but eventually developed into a large roadside tourist attraction. We're at the Wall's famous Wall's Drugstore.
Okay.
I've been working this here pyrite mine for nearly 30 years. All right, now back to our helicopter tour. Once on the ground, be sure to drive the Badlands Loop Road. It's an amazing drive. It has the most beautiful scenery that changes all through the day according to the position of the sun and clouds. And most of the wildlife come out in the morning and evening hours. It's a great place to spot bison, pronghorn antelope, bighorn sheep, prairie dogs, black-hooded ferrets, and many more. And you're sure to get beautiful pictures and selfies here. As always, when you're having fun, the fun ends all too soon, so now we're heading back. It was a souvenir. In all the excitement, I forgot to take the headset off. Hey, thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment and hit that like button too. Our ground video of Mount Rushmore is stock and before the new laws were passed. So we're putting our boots in the air. So they roll out the helicopters first thing in the morning and get ready for the first rides. Coming up on the town of Keystone. Coming up on the Crazy Horse Memorial, you can see where they've carved the head and they're working on the arm. And you can see the chalk mark where the horse will be. It's going to be the most magnificent sculpture in the world when they're finished. Hey, we're at the Crazy Horse Memorial in South Dakota. Here's the Crazy Horse Memorial right here in the back of us. Here are some sculptures of what it'll look like that aid in the carving. When completed, it'll be the largest sculpture in the world. They have a really nice restaurant with a beautiful view of the mountain, and this is the buffet we had. It was just simply delicious. Well, you can see the men working and carving on the hand and the arm right now. This bus was sitting up front. It's really beautiful. The scene on the bus is the Grand Tetons. We're going there next. They have a great many interesting exhibits in the museum. Crazy Horse was a Native American war leader. He took up arms against the U.S. federal government to fight against encroachments of their territories. His most famous actions against the U.S. military included the Fetterman Fight and the Battle of Little Bighorn. He ranks among the most notable and iconic of the Native American tribal members and was honored by a U.S. Postal Service in 1982 with a 13-cent postage stamp. Here's a picture of Korjak Zyolkowski with Chief Henry Standing Bear, taken in 1947. The chief originally wrote him a letter in 1939 asking him to carve a mountain so that the white man will know that the red man had great heroes also. What a great helicopter ride. Let's go back into Keystone and visit it a little while. Keystone, South Dakota is a beautiful, scenic, old-time looking town nestled in the middle of the Black Hills. With a population of only 240 according to a 2020 census, it got its start in 1883 as a mining town and has since transformed itself into a resort town, serving as a great destination for Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, and the Black Hills. eating pizza on the top deck. Here it is now. Hey, thanks for watching. And be sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like and a comment. And thanks so much. In the heart of the West, where legends were born then died, whispers the secrets of an 1880 town, frozen in time but revealed to you. Y'all ready to step back in time when the West was really wild? Hold on to your hats and click in now before once again it all fades away. Come on now, you hear?
We got a real early start to this incredible sunrise this morning.
We're here at the 1880 town. It's a reenactment of the Old West. This was actually used in a movie set in another town, and the man that bought this property brought it in, I think in 1970.
When Richard Hullinger bought 14 acres at exit 170 back in 1969, he had no plans for an attraction. In 1972, a gas station was built at this location along with an idea of an Old West attraction. Later, an additional 80 acres was purchased. About that time, a movie company came to a small town nearby to film an 1880-era movie. A main street set was constructed from old buildings, and a number of Indian relics and antiques were borrowed from Clarence Hullinger, Richard's father. Winter set in and the filming was abandoned. The movie company returned home, giving the main street set to Clarence for the use of his artifacts. The movie set was moved to the 80 acres and the 1880 town was born. We decided to start with breakfasts in this beautifully restored and nostalgic train diner. This 1950s Santa Fe train originally ran from Chicago to California, before coming to rest at the 1880 town in 1982. South Dakota's original 1880 town has more than 30 buildings from the 1880 to 1920 era, authentically furnished with thousands of relics, historical accounts and photographs, a Casey Tibbs exhibit, dances with wolves movie props, and fun activities for kids. Dances with Wolves was mostly filmed in South Dakota. Kevin Costner has delighted television audiences across the nation with his portrayal of John Dutton on the Paramount Network's breakout hit Yellowstone. Of course, the Western star has played plenty of gruff cowboy characters over the years, including in Hatfields and McCoys, Open Range, and Wyatt Earp to name a few. But there's one of Costner's Western projects that stands above the rest, and that's his 1990 epic Dances with Wolves. Much of the film was shot at the Triple U Buffalo Ranch, located near Pierre. The ranch was purchased by Ted Turner in 2015. Was Dances with Wolves a true story? Despite being fiction, Dances with Wolves infuses itself with historical and cultural realities. These are the real survivors of the Battle of Little Bighorn, 1876. This picture was taken on September 2, 1948.
This is one of the teepees from Dances with Wolves. Longhorn Saloon. That's where usually all the problems are. All right, you're gonna have a sarsaparilla? Put your hands up and give us a like.
The Untamed Portrait Studio.
There's the gold bars.
See you later, bye. Okay, this is our house. Alright, we got the magic tonic for all your ailments. And we know it works because it's 80% alcohol. That is one big cow. Holy cow.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
We really appreciate it. Hey, while we're waiting on mine, let me tell you a little bit about this video. So we rode the 1880 Central Railroad train. We started in Keystone, South Dakota, near Mount Rushmore, and rode to Hill City and back in the heart of the beautiful Black Hills.
I'm ready. What are you waiting for?
So come ride with us now.
Red turn. Yep. 3A. 3A and 3B.
Thank you. We just barely made the train. It pays not to plan.
Hop aboard the iconic 1880 steam train. It's like a time machine as we embark on an unforgettable journey through the rich history and stunning landscapes of Keystone, South Dakota, and Hill City, where the past comes to life through the rhythmic chugging of the locomotive. Explore the breathtaking Black Hills as we take you through the winding tracks, offering panoramic views of the pristine wilderness. The 1880 train was used in the filming of television's Gunsmoke series, the made-for-television movie Orphan Train, and Steven Spielberg's Into the West. The 1880 train is a 2-hour 20-mile round-trip journey between Hill City and Keystone. It is the oldest continuous steam train in the United States. The rails were laid in the late 1800s. Passengers view vistas of Harney Peak, mining encampments, and participate in good old-fashioned fun. We just arrived at Hill City. It is a favorite destination in the Black Hills all year long. Here, you're just minutes away from the jaw-dropping views from Black Elk Peak, 7,242 elevation, cathedral spires, and of course, the breathtaking views of Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse Memorial. The 1880 train engine moves from the front to the back. It was in reverse on the trip here to Hill City. The train does not turn around. All seat backs flip forward and backwards, so you do not have to face backwards on either trip. When you're traveling west, you'll experience the best views on the right side of the train. Traveling east, be sure to sit on the left side. This engine number 7 turned 100 in 2019. The engine was in service until 2012, when it was retired and placed here for all to enjoy and photograph. You might recognize it in many TV shows and movies.
The 1880s train. We get to eat at the train station. And we're here eating our food.
Then the train charged back down the tracks, towards Keystone. The thunderous explosion of steam creating a symphony of hisses and roars that reverberated off the hillsides. The ground quivered beneath the relentless onslaught of 1,000 horsepower unleashed. Its wheels spinning with such fury that they seemed to ignite the very air around them. The train ride back to Keystone is uphill, so it takes a little longer and it requires the train to work a little harder, so you see more of that black smoke, for a thrilling ride. Then the steam blow commenced, a magnificent sight to behold. A colossal plume of steam that erupted off the side of the track. The magnificent hunk of iron and steel, its mighty boiler hissing and belching forth plumes of steam like a slumbering dragon awakening. The rhythmic chugging of the steam locomotive echoed through the valley, building excitement among the onlookers who had gathered along the tracks and all who rode the train. The engineer's hand gripped the throttle lever, a roar erupted from the locomotive's depths. The locomotive trembled with anticipation, as if it could barely contain the raw power coursing through its veins. The steam pressure gauge danced wildly, inching toward the red zone. Then, with a deafening blast of the whistle that shattered the silence of the Black Hills, the steam locomotive surged forward. A thunderous explosion of steam creating a symphony of hisses and roars that reverberated off the hillsides.
I want to thank everybody for riding with us today. Remember, only 15 minutes.
At the end of our incredible journey, we realized this steam train was more than a machine. It was a living, breathing entity, a symbol of human ingenuity and the spirit of adventure, that left an indelible mark on all who bore witness to this thrilling 1880s train.
Buckle up, because today we're driving headfirst into the heart of the wilderness, where creatures roam free and untamed. Bear Country, USA. Hey, so welcome everybody. Thanks for showing up. We know you're going to want to watch this one as an extra special episode, so y'all come along, you hear?
I'm ready! What are you waiting for?
Welcome to Bear Country, USA. Very few people have had a full-grown black bear look in the window of their family car, or if they have, it was not by choice. Even fewer have seen a reindeer or elk up close. However, you will experience these thrilling sights from the comfort and safety of your own car. Nestled over 200 acres amidst towering pines and along rolling meadows, just 8 miles south of Rapid City and close by Mount Rushmore and Keystone, South Dakota. You'll be amazed by the intimate views of these North American mammals as you take a leisurely 3-mile drive through several encounters of wildlife as they live, not in small cages, but, just like in the wide open wilderness, this is the home of the largest collection of privately owned black bear in the world. You are guaranteed to see more than you bargained for. From the comfort of your own car, watch your wildlife adventure of nature come to life as they frolic in a pool, climb trees, and amble across the road in front of your vehicle.
Well, I have to say this place is very impressive. And wait until you see the bears. They got more bears than you can believe possible.
Don't forget to give us a like. Just because it's called Bear Country doesn't mean that there's not an impressive amount of other animals. Just look at these wolves. Wolves are incredibly clever animals with complex social systems. Wolves have always been misunderstood, which led them to nearly be completely wiped out. The best example of this is in Yellowstone National Park. Native gray wolves were eliminated by 1920. Initially viewed as a benefit, the loss of wolves caused the park's elk population to explode out of control. Without wolves to reduce their numbers, Yellowstone's growing elk herds began to feast unsustainably on trees and vegetation. The park and the animals all suffered because of the unbalance in nature. Although controversial, the reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone began in 1995. Now the park is in recovery of its plants, trees, and wildlife. Another fun fact. Wolves don't howl at a full moon. They really howl to communicate with their pack or to scare off other wolves, and they can be heard as far as 10 miles away.
And even though they're very skilled hunters, they're loving and family-oriented creatures.
Bear Country has over 100 black bear. The black bear is omnivorous, which means it eats vegetables, fruit, breads, and meat. During autumn, they eat more than usual to gain body fat to sustain them through their winter hibernation. When food is abundant, they will eat up to 45 pounds a day in preparation for winter. Bears don't really hibernate, but rather fall into a deep sleep from which they can awaken quickly. During hibernation, the bear may only eat once a week, or if it is very cold, he will not eat for a month. The black bear's name is deceptive. They can range from pure black to cinnamon to blonde. Black bears in the east are nearly black, while those in the west are black to cinnamon with a white blaze on their chest. The black bears in Alaska can have a blue or white color phase to blend with their snowy surroundings. You will notice many black bears in trees. Unlike the grizzly, who does not have claws that are well adapted for climbing, the black bear is a very proficient climber. The black bear's curved claws allow them to easily and quickly climb high into trees and will often sleep in the crotch of branches. Grizzly bears, on the other hand, climb by hugging the tree and grasping branches with their mouth to pull themselves upward. Their claws are straighter, longer, and adapted for digging.
After you're through driving your car through the wildlife area, you'll want to visit this beautiful walkthrough area too.
The coyote is very unpopular with farmers. However, coyotes mainly eat rodents, rabbits, and small animals. They will only hunt large animals, such as a deer, in groups of 2 or more. The coyote is the best runner of wolves or dogs, reaching speeds of 30 miles per hour and in short bursts up to 40. They can leap up to 14 feet in a single bound. The coyote is the symbol of the American West with his night howls, barks, and wails. The American badger is the largest member of the weasel family. It has extremely long front claws, which it uses for digging rodents from the ground. It feeds on ground squirrels, gophers, rats, mice, birds, and even rattlesnakes. Its long hair protects it from snake bites, unless a snake strikes it directly on the nose. This very ferocious animal has few enemies. They have been known to attack and kill animals as big as a horse. The badger forages day and night. A badger can weigh up to 25 pounds and defends itself when cornered. This is a peccary. While they share some similar characteristics with pigs or wild boar, they are not closely related. They are omnivores, feeding on insects, roots, grasses, seeds, fruit, and cacti, particularly prickly pear. Groundhogs are also known as woodchucks. They are very vocal mammals. When alarmed, they give a loud, shrill whistle and will grind their teeth.
I never knew groundhogs could climb a tree.
A skunk has perhaps the most widely known defense system of any mammal. Striped skunks usually do not discharge the foul-smelling contents of their scent glands unless mortally threatened. Because of their offensive odor, skunks are rarely preyed on by predators. Porcupines use a combination of acoustic, chemical, visual, and tactile communication before their defensive quills are used. The bobcat is an excellent climber who often waits in the trees to pounce on their prey, which includes rodents, rabbits, squirrels, and birds. They also may take the occasional deer. Everybody loves these cute little baby bears. Most of the time, they seem like they are nice, gentle, playful animals because they seem so cuddly cute. But we've also all heard the phrase, mean as a bear. The cubs are born during the hibernation period in late January and are born in a litter between 1 and 6 cubs. When they are born, they weigh only about 9 ounces and are the size of a stick of butter. They start to open their eyes slightly after 1 month and walk shortly after. Cubs are dependent on their mother's milk for a little over 7 months. From then on, they grow very quickly. They'll reach independence and start going out on their own at around 1.5 years. They don't stop growing until about 5 years. In March, when they weigh 3 to 5 pounds, the keepers collect the cubs from their dens. By May, they can be 12 to 20 pounds. While they are on display in the Wildlife Center, their weight will increase to about 75 pounds by the end of the summer. An adult male can weigh as much as 650 pounds. The female will reach a maximum weight of almost 400 pounds. Would you consider helping us support all this work and cost it took to make these videos? Please like and subscribe. In the wild, Mama Bear is always with the cubs, protecting them and nursing them with her nourishing milk. So many dangers await. The cubs have many predators, so she has to keep a close eye out. This is especially hard because the bears are so playful and often get lost in their fantasies. Mama Bear will never let them near their father because male bears often attack and kill the cubs in order to mate with the female again. Even though most cubs are born in trees, their claws are still not grown long enough, so they have to be careful with climbing because they could fall out of the tree. They also lack the experience and sometimes go out too far on a limb. Mama Bear has to consume large quantities of food and requires much rest. Most of the time, she'll tell the cubs to go up a tree and go to sleep while she sleeps, or at least get so rest at the bottom. She needs to do this to build up her milk again. This could be several hours, and of course the cubs sometimes are just like little kids because they can't stand still. Did you know? A bear's sense of smell is between 18 and 20 miles. Bears have an excellent sense of smell and can easily find food using their noses. They are attracted by smells, and almost everything smells like food to a bear. Black bear cubs take to the water easily and quickly. Black bears are also great swimmers and will readily enter water in search of fish. One of our favorite black bear facts is that one adult is believed to have swum 9 miles along the Gulf of Mexico. A bear can run faster than 30 miles per hour. It will easily outrun, outclimb, and outswim you. Adult black bears are about 3 feet high when standing on all 4 feet, and 5 feet to 7 feet tall when standing upright. Bears live in various types of habitat, like hardwood forests, dense swamps and forested wetlands. Black bears are omnivores. They eat plants like skunk cabbage, grasses, berries, acorns and nuts. Black bears are nearly waterproof. The outer shaggy fur repels water, while their underfur is soft and dense, and is primarily for insulation. Bears molt annually, in early summer.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Hey, we really appreciate it too. And this video right over here was selected for you to watch. It's one of ours.